So I wanted to update and go over my BAROMAGNES deck that I actually used this to go undefeated at my last locals. It was only 4 rounds though, but I was surprised because I've been um, I've been trying to get accustomed to a new job recently, and I haven't had a chance to test this list. I just like built it, but I actually made like one change. But I built this list like a week or so, like a couple weeks back, and I just never had a chance to play test it. And then I just took it to locals. I took like 4 different decks that I built but didn't have the chance to really like play test. I don't really like doing that. I prefer to play test before locals. I used to do that, but then like I realized like trying to figure out an idea in like a tournament setting is just not a good idea in itself, because you're gonna figure out things after the match, and then you're gonna get sad when the idea doesn't work the way you thought it would work, and then you figure out something else that would work better, and then you'd be like, oh, why didn't I think of this? But generally, I do like to play test before locals, but didn't get a chance to. So it did surprisingly like better than I thought it was. Like, this is not my final build by any means, but this is currently what I have. So let's get into it. We're maxing out on Persona Rides. I've seen this cut to 2. I've seen it cut out the deck completely. My personal reason for running Persona Rides again is that I cut out the Gumin package just because I wanted to try something different. Like, I saw that at the last Kingslayer tournament that I went to, I fought my own, like what I would consider my only true loss. I saw this BAROMAGNES player, and he was playing a deck like, it was not the standard list where it was just like, oh, 4 brainwash slurlers, and then like, you know, like the cookie cutter, basically like the cookie cutter set 4 list. He was actually playing like some set 5 cards, and that kind of got me like thinking. I'm like, ooh, like, let me, like, I know this deck is good, but like I want to try something different to see like how it goes, and I think it was pretty successful. And then for Curtis, you really do want to max out on Curtis. He's your only like your only on-call Sword Charge 2 in the deck, so it's just very crucial that you max him out at 4 copies. And then I'm still playing 4 of Pandemonium Tactics. Generally, I really like seeing multiple copies of this card on my ride ups, because like generally I only need to use this one time. I never really needed to use it twice, at least in the 4 rounds. I've never had to use it twice, but if I see multiple copies, it's like easy ditch fodder, and I don't have to ditch pieces, or more often than not, don't have to ditch triggers. Like, I can keep the guarding like amount in my hand like pretty healthy. And then maxing out on 4 copies of Twin Sword. I have also seen recently that people are cutting this down to 3. Me personally, I'm playing it at 4, and there's like still so many times where like I'll only have like 1 or 2 in soul, or like I'll damage a couple, and like I just value maxing this out on 4, especially if you draw into it on a Persona Ride turn before you Superior Call it from soul. It just like it raises the ceiling of your turn. It raises the power ceiling, and you're able to use its second ability to ditch a card and just get like a really powerful attacker like Deep Stonker. And then we're playing 4 Selfish Engraver. She's your countercharger of the deck. It's like, again, max it out on 4 copies. There's really nothing new there. With this list, I don't play this card, but I was playing 2 copies of Keenly Ludley. Generally, I don't play this card. I'm one of those barrel players, or like for a long time at least, I was one of those barrel players that like, oh, I'm just gonna build my deck to win the game, and I'm not gonna need a card like this to per se put cards back into my deck, because I deck out. Because the way I played the deck is I either win or lose. I don't lose by deck out, because most of the time when I did have low cards in deck, I also had low cards in hand, so they were gonna win that turn regardless of what I did. But I was trying her out at 2 copies. I feel like I really want to cut her down to 1, but 2 is like necessary for those turns where you have to pitch it in the early when you damage it. Even though you do only need 1 copy, it's you play 2 to basically see it. It did work out really well. I did use this card to like win like 2 games. Yeah, I think I used it to like win 2 games. Yeah, because one time I was playing, like I put like it was so funny. I put like 4 PGs back with this card. I forget what deck I was playing against, but I put 4 PGs back with this card. I'm just like, you're not decking me out. And then like I won that turn. I wasn't expecting to win. That's why I was like, oh, let me just put PGs back, so like I have like a good guard for next turn. And then for my final grade 1, this is the one of tech of the deck. Like everything else, like except for Keenly Lewdly, is maxed out at 4 copies in my deck. This is the only tech. I'm playing 1 copy of Amazing Frost. What is this card? I've never seen this card before. Okay, so what Amazing Frost does is on call, you Soul Blast 1, you draw a card, and then you put a card from your hand to Soul. So I was basically just using Amazing Frost as like an extra filter from my deck, like filtering out extra Curtises that I don't need, extra Pandemonium Tactics from my hand that I don't need, or I was also using it as a powerful attacker, which surprisingly, more often than not, I had enough different names in this deck that I would get the 8 or I would get the 10 different names off to give it the 5k power boost. Because if you have 8 or different names, when you use its ability, it gets 5k power to the end of the turn. If you have 10 different names in your soul, it gets 10k power instead of the 5k. So this was like it was really crucial just on turns where I didn't have the counterblast to do double Twin Sword. So I'm like, oh, let me do a Twin Sword and Amazing Frost. And I was actually, without triggers, what was it? Amazing Frost was 20. I got Amazing Frost up to 35 by itself. And in that type of scenario where like, and he's also an intercept, this is crucial. In that type of scenario, most of the time, I would do Twin Sword plus Deep Sonicer. And that would be a 33, and then Twin Sword would be 25. But this, I'm able to do the same thing, filter out my filter my hand, get a key guarding piece to my hand, and still have a powerful attacker plus an interceptor for next turn. So I saw this one of a lot, surprisingly, either in the early games where like I had to be forced to pitch it because it's a one of, and everything else in the hand was just more valuable. But in the times that it did come up, it was really cool. The plays you could make were really cool. But on to the grade 1s. I'm playing 4 Flaming Pony. This is what inspired me to build the deck this way, was Flaming Pony. So basically my idea was with this deck was I was trying to build a version of BAROMAGNES where like I really didn't have to go that hard into the paint. Like I didn't have to drop my whole hand, like drop like 3 brain swirlers, like cool, like I'm having a really powerful turn. At the end of the turn, I'm having like 2 to 3 cards in hand. So my idea was with the pony was my idea was with Amazing Frost and the pony was if I draw extra ponies that into my hand, which are essentially dead cards if I can't suck it into soul from my ride line, is if I draw extra ponies, I can put a pony into my hand, into my soul with Amazing Frost, and then possibly draw into another piece. So that's why I'm maxing out on 4 of the ponies. I'm just trying to like save my hand. There was actually one time I soul charged like 2 ponies, and that's what got me like 15 soul without wasting the rest of my hand. So it's just really good, and it also in so many times where I had Pandemonium 2 Curtis, and the ponies would help me get to 15. So, and then for DPGs, really nothing to say about that. Is this right? Yeah, this is the right way. 1 Dark States Overtrigger, the best Overtrigger in Dark States. There's no reason to run any other Overtrigger. I'm playing 7 crit instead of usually I like to play 8 crit, but I'm playing 7 crit because I did want to try out the 4 draws. 4 draws, 4 regular heals. I'm not playing any of the new heals just because I'm playing draws. I'm already playing like a high count of 10k shields versus 15ks. So I really wouldn't want to play the new heal triggers, even though I can search them out of Soul to use them. But 4 draw triggers, I know a lot of people like to go like 6, 7, 8 draws. For me, in BAROMAGNES, the maximum amount of draws I would run are 4, just because they really only help you out to like in like the early game or like when you damage them. And I would just rather have I still want to have that crit pressure, just because if you check a crit while they're at 3 or 4, that just helps you win normally, to whereas you wouldn't have won if you on that turn, like win a turn earlier than you would have, because you checked that crit. And crits are basically like the best trigger. Outside of like the over trigger, it's like the best trigger in the game. But that's really it for my deck profile. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about it down below. Again, I don't think this is the finished build at all for the deck, especially since we're getting new support like quite soon. Well, not too soon. It's like a couple months away. Like what, 2 months by now? Like a month and a half away. But yeah. See you guys later.